Greetings from the Magnolia. I'm Nyda Bittmann-Neville, your host, and I am CEO of TNB Consulting Group, and welcome to the show. The Magnolia is heard each and every Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we focus on topics that relate to image, brand, and business culture. So I am so glad that you decided to join us. Today, our topic is interviewing skills. And I want to, I've got a lot of resources here and I want to share those with you. First, we're going to get started with the Fortune magazine on how to find a job. It's a great article and I want to just share some things to sort of set the stage for us. And then I'm going to go to one of the chapters in our book from the Professional Woman Networking Library called You're on Stage, Image, Etiquette, Branding, and Style. And one of our authors has written on interviewing skills, and she's got just a wealth of background, and so I want to share those with you. Because right now what we find is that as people are searching for work, it is quite difficult out there. And what we want to do is to be creative, and we want to be well prepared. In fact, in the article that I'm looking at in the Fortune magazine, it says it's brutal out there. But the people getting hired aren't necessarily the most connected, they are the most creative. So they said, work your Rolodex. To score an in-person meeting, don't just ask for a job, offer something in return, like intel on the competition. So again, we want to do research on our company. We want to make sure that we are prepared, find out about them as much as you can. And they're indicating in here that what you want to do is to be able to make sure that in that interview, you let that person know what you bring to the table and what you can do in the first 30, 60, 90 days. Because people are looking for somebody who can come in and get started fast, not necessarily grow with the job. And they said, target your search. One of the worst mistakes job seekers make is sending out hundreds of resumes. That's not looking for a job, they say. That's buying a lottery ticket. And get the word out. Again, in this day and age, there's nothing to be ashamed about if indeed you are in transition. What you want to make sure you're doing is that, again, I've got this positive outlook, I'm making a transition, and I'm very excited about the opportunities. Now inside you might be screaming and hollering a whole different picture, but we want to make sure that people still see us as positive, because that really tells people what you are like when it gets tough. And nobody wants to hire somebody that's moaning and groaning. So they said, don't be ashamed, let everybody know that you're looking for work, and use that word that says, I'm in transition. Get your foot in the door. Use the interview to show what you're going to deliver in the first 30, 60, 90 days. And again, companies don't have time for you to grow into the job. The article is full of other information, and I invite you to go out there online to Fortune and find that article. Now, let's go into, again, the book You're on Stage, Image, Etiquette, Branding, and Style, one of the 17 books in the series from PWN. If you're interested not only in this book but in others, just go out to www.pwn, that's Professional Woman Network Books.com, and you can see all 17 books. Now, some of the things that this author talks about in her chapter are some questions, and I want to share these with you because you really need to make sure that your answers to certain questions are very well prepared. Not robotic, but that you know the answers and that you can deliver them without pausing and hemming and hawing, so to speak. What is your greatest asset and what is your greatest weakness? I would highly suggest that you clue those in to the job that you are interviewing for. For example, if it is a job that's got a lot to do with project management, process improvement, those types of things, then you want to make sure that you are talking about your strongest asset that is going to make a connection between the job that you are applying for and that. As far as weakness, I always love it. Just lean into somebody and say, because they'll usually laugh and they might just keep on trucking, but you do need to have a solid answer. With what type of supervision do you work best? Are you a team player, or do you prefer to work alone? And again, think about the job that you're applying for. Is it in a real team environment? Well, that's not the time to say that you like to be working for yourself, because that's going to be a strike against you. Tell me about a conflict that you had with a coworker or supervisor and how you handled it. Would you handle it differently now? And if so, what would you do? What life accomplishments are you most proud of? A lot of individuals go to the family type of accomplishments. You know, I raised 2 children and they are fine citizens today. Well, that's wonderful, and you're going to have time to talk about that once you're hired. Make sure that your accomplishments are related to your job. And why should I consider you for this position? This answer needs to be threefold. You need to have 3 strong messages. Because why should they hire you for this position? What is it that you can bring to the table? And so you really need to start looking at yourself. What are those strengths? What is it that I can bring to the table? For the most part, it might be your experience, but then you need to have a couple of key points to further explain that experience. So think of 3 key messages. Now, she also goes on to say that when you are in the interview, do not act or look desperate or needy. Don't leave the interview without asking the interviewer how you would like to follow up. Do not chew gum or mints. Do that, of course, ahead of time. Don't bring someone with you even if they are out in the waiting room. Don't ask to borrow pencil and paper because that says that you're not organized and you're not prepared. Don't terminate the interview to meet your schedule. Make sure you've given plenty of time for that interview. Don't put sunglasses or regular glasses on top of your head or on top of your forehead. Just make sure that you are really paying attention, and that there should be nothing that should distract from them having a conversation with you. And it says don't carry a large bulky bag. And I always say that whether it's a woman and you're carrying a purse or a briefcase, or a man with their briefcase, make sure it's polished. That here you didn't put on a great looking suit and then you've got a really tacky briefcase. It's better not to have one at all rather than to have something that's tacky. So those are our tips for interviewing skills. If you've got some, I would love to hear what they are so we can share them with everyone. And if you found that using some of the tips we talked about today, or you went to the magazine Fortune and found the article of how to find a job and something triggered in there for you to do, please let me know. Just go on to themagnolia.tv and let me know. Until next Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I wish you just a great week and great success in your interviewing. And I do hope that you get the job that you're looking for. So until then, greetings from the Magnolia.